What did you actually do when you're cutting weight? Because there's some insane protocols that fighters go through. And I think it's like, there's a debate saying they should remove the weight cut, that, you know, fighters should just fight at their normal weight. You know, what's your take on that? Like, because there's some fighters dropping 25 pounds.
I was one of those.
Yeah.
27 pounds.
Yeah.
I think the problem, I think Dana's touched on this a few times, but the problem with athletes at the elite level is they will do anything to win.
To get an advantage.
To get an advantage, yeah, to win, to get an advantage. It's like, the rules are fair. You have to weigh in. For me, it was 84 kilos at this date, at this time.
Yeah.
After that, do whatever you want.
True.
So I can push myself up to whatever I'm willing to do. But if you say, okay, there's no weight class, no weight cut, and you're going to fight at 84 kilos and you're going to weigh in on before you step in the cage, you'd have so many fights cancelled because the fighters would cheat. So they're going to cheat. It's going to happen. Yeah. Or I wouldn't maybe be able to make the weight, and my livelihood, the money I make to feed my family, is on the line. So I've got to be 84 kilos, and I'm 86. I'll cut 2 kilos in weight and fight directly. Yeah. So I'm going to weigh in and then fight, and then I'm really at danger of my brain because I'm fighting another human completely dehydrated. Yes. So I wish there was a way, and even in Asia, there's a thing called ONE FC.
Yeah, I know.
They do like hydration tests on their guys, and they have this whole new, like, I think they weigh in same day, or you can only cut so much weight. You have to, and you get tested from the moment you arrive at the hotel for your hydration levels. Whoa. So they really try and eliminate it, but people will still cheat. Yeah, you know, whatever. But maybe that is a better way. I don't know, because I've never been through that process. You have to speak to a ONE FC fighter, but the hydration tests maybe work. But for me, I used to cut a lot of weight, like a lot. I'm 6'6". I used to fight at 84 kilos, 185 pounds for the people that do pounds. Is like, I would weigh on back in the day. I mean, now I'm way up. I'm like 110 kilos at the moment.
Nice. Pure muscle.
Of course. So back in the day, I'd be like, in pounds, I'd be like 210 maybe, you know. I actually, on The Ultimate Fighter, we're talking about it, on that series, there was 4 fighters, I remember. They used to call it the 210 Club. And it would be, because we all had to make weight all the time. And in between weight cuts, we'd all look at each other's weights and that sort of stuff. And anyone over 210 pounds would get on the scale, and they were part of like the big boy club. Yeah, you know what I mean? The heavy weights. And maybe the guys would see it. There was a guy called Clint Hester, Bubba McDaniel. Who else was in the 210 Club? I can't remember. There was one more guy, and then me. But at that time, when I did the weigh-in and they did this whole thing, I wasn't 210. I put a bottle of water in my pocket to be 210.
To get in the club.
To get in the club, but also for all the other fighters to think I was bigger than I was.
Yes, mind games.
Because we were going to fight each other.
Yeah. And so when you were going for the weight cut, did you like cut out carbs? Like, did you cut water? Like, what was your go-to weight cut routine?
So there's two different ways you can look at weight cutting. Most people get this confused. So fight camp is 12 weeks. Yeah. So at the start of a fight camp, 12 weeks out, you would be X weight or whatever, and you would diet, and you would watch your carb intake. Yeah. A lot of people doing it with fasting. Like there's loads of ways you could do it. You do like a high fats diet, you know, and then you try and get as lean as possible, but maintain top level performance. Yes. So you need a lot of carbs. You need to eat. You need to feel good. For me, the point where I'd start to feel like elite, like a really, really top level fighter, was about around 95, 96 kilos, like naturally. So I was 96 kilos walking around, but that's when I felt like great. Yeah. If I was
that was like your optimal weight.
Yeah, optimal weight. If I was out of training, I'd go up to like 101, 102, but like fat, eating junk, you know. So you cut out all the junk, you go on a strict diet, you do, you know. An optimal fight camp now is considered to be 8 weeks. It used to be 12, but I think now people take it more seriously all year round. So that 8-week camp you do, 7 of those weeks you're on like a strict diet, and you drop little by little by little. I'm sure for bodybuilding shows it's like...
Yeah, it's similar. You know, you just stick to a deficit, you hit your protein intake, and the goal is to preserve as much muscle while getting to as low body fat as possible. And then you do... So some people are against, you know, manipulating water intake to look dry, but you can... you drink loads of water like Monday to Thursday, then Friday you pretty much like cut it out, then maybe you compete Saturday and you just sip water on the day. So you do like a huge water intake and then you cut it. But some people think like, you know, you're really kind of just messing around with things and it doesn't make that much of a difference. But in terms of weight, you know, then it definitely does. For a fighter, it definitely does. But in terms of appearance, some people can say it actually makes you look worse from a bodybuilding standpoint. Like some people say you can look flat.
Yeah, you need to look fuller.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So there's a little debate on that.
It'll be interesting because I'll explain the method for an MMA, or my method. So my method started on the Ultimate Fighter, how I got good at it. Before the Ultimate Fighter, I was still good at it, but it was all about being tough. So before the Ultimate Fighter, there was like, again, this is, Ultimate Fighter now was 11 years ago, I think. So let's say 12 years ago, there wasn't so many people doing such big weight cuts. They'd all come from America. They'd all be wrestlers. They all had their own, so there'd be like whispers about how to cut weight, right? And then people got into it, really into it. And I was one of those people. And the way I used to cut weight originally, not before I learned my method, the way I used to cut weight originally was just in a sauna. So I would dehydrate my body. So we would do the water loading, which is what you're saying, like you would drink a lot of water. So I'll explain it. The water loading process, what we do, we normally do that leading up to the fight. So if I'm going to fight on the Saturday, my weigh-in's on the Friday, I would cut the water out on the Thursday, right? Yeah. So up until Thursday morning, I would slowly increase the intake of water I have. From Saturday, I drink 6 liters, Sunday 7, Monday 8, 9, 10, bomb. Yeah. Right, cut it off. And then on Thursday morning, I drink like a liter just to get the body going. Yeah. And what you're doing is you're tricking your system into believing that you are going to, like, you are going to put more water in your system.
Exactly, yeah. Right? So you're flushing it all out.
Yeah, so you're flushing your system. So your body gets used to, like, overloading with water and having to piss it out, basically. So it's like, then it thinks any water that goes into my system, I need to get rid of. So it sends it straight out of the body, okay? Yeah. So that's what we call water loading. You can also do sodium loading, which is another thing.
That's a tricky one as well because it's so, intricate. Yeah. So it's a tough one to do.
And everyone needs to know their average sodium levels. That takes a lot of input and output. But I did that a little bit. I manipulated my sodium. I used to use things like soy sauce and whatever. Yeah. So again, until I knew what I was doing. But then when my water dropped, because I'd heard rumors about this water loading thing, but I didn't really understand it at this time. So I did the water loading thing. And then on the Thursday, I would train, but dry, like I wouldn't drink. Then after training, I'd wear sweatsuits and all that sort of stuff and train and shadow box and try and drop as much water as possible. And then in the evening, I would do sauna. And then my weigh-in would normally be at like 12 o'clock or 10 o'clock the next day. So I'd wake up 7 a.m., you'd sleep through the night, no water, wake up, sauna, and we would do like 20-minute stints in the sauna.
Okay.
Right, so you do 20 minutes in the sauna, 10 minutes out, 20 minutes in, 10 minutes out. And for me, it would be like, at this stage, I was probably cutting like 8 kilo, 9 kilo, like around this time. Yeah. Again, because I was younger and I was, whatever. I hadn't built up as much muscle mass, all these sort of things. And then I went on the Ultimate Fighter. So again, to explain the Ultimate Fighter, you fight to get on the show. I fought Nicholas, like I said, the Diaz kid. I beat him and we went in the house. We go in the house, there's 14 of us, all like mid-20s, early 30s, like the older guys, on a TV show, massive American reality TV show. Yeah. Everyone super happy. Yeah. We get there and you show up at this mansion in Vegas and you all get handed out a piece of paper with your name on it. And again, remember, I've been sleeping on the floor, eating chicken and rice. And at this moment, they say, write down whatever you want on this piece of paper, and we will bring it to you tomorrow, right? Food-wise, anything you want. Not hookers and coke.
Cohiba, 20 cigars.
No, this point is like, anything you want us to put in the fridge, we'll put it in. And I'm an idiot, so I just wrote chicken and rice because I didn't know. I literally didn't know what other food was at that point.
Humble as ever.
Yeah. So but this is a great lesson actually when you talk about that. So humble. I write chicken and rice because I didn't know. But then you come into the mansion. They got like a bar. They got all the booze you can imagine. It's a TV show. They want you to get drunk and do stupid shit. Yeah. So they push that on you a little bit. And
that's surprising because that would mess up your performance.
Of course, but they don't care about that. Yeah. And then we had a big barbecue or someone, I can't remember, but someone cooked and it was like this big thing. So I'm like, just cut weight, just fought, just won, got on the Ultimate Fighter, and there's beer. And I'm like, so I ended up eating. I didn't get drunk, but I had like a few rums or whatever to like bond with the guys. Next day, we come into the gym. I mean, by this time, we've been selected what teams are on, all that sort of stuff. And I was on Chael Sonnen's team, still good friends with Chael. Yeah. I was the number 1 pick for his team because I put on the performance of a lifetime and I had amazing cardio, blah, blah, blah. And also, Chael didn't really pick me. I learned out later. It was his coach, a guy called Scott, and he was a judo guy. And I threw a couple of judo throws and he loved that. So that was kind of what it was. Chael told me. And then we come in and they're like, right, first fight, Team Jones gets to pick the fight. They go away, they think about it, they come back, and it was Gilbert Smith, who's one of their guys, against me. So I was the first fight of the show. I was the first pick on the show, the first fight of the show. From being the first fight on the show, I'd won, got on, eaten a load of crap, had a few beers, had a good time, feeling amazing. Yeah. Next day, you're fighting tomorrow. Oh, what do you mean tomorrow? Okay, not tomorrow, the next day. All right, so I had to make weight the following day.
And you probably had like a really heavy weigh-in after all that.
So I remember like going back after I'd been selected to fight, looking at my weight, and I was 27.2 pounds over the limit. Because what your body does is when it like rebounds.
Yeah. So when you actually drink alcohol and you're hungover the following day and you're all dehydrated, the following day you're really watery. Like so that's why if anyone's listening, you wake up and you're hungover and you're like, I'm looking pretty lean, I'm looking good. And then the next day the hangover, the depression kicks in. Yeah, because it throws your water balance out of whack.
Completely. Yeah. So you're completely dehydrated to then your body. So once you've been dehydrated in a state of dehydration, your body clings onto everything. Like a survival mechanism, right? So it's like anything you eat, anything you drink, it like stores, and it does not want to let go of it.